Welcome to Super Movie Brothers. Let's start the show.
This is a podcast on the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.
Welcome to Super Movie Brothers, episode 117. I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Dave.
I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Jay.
And me and Jay have a very special guest this week, joining us throughout the entire episode this week, with the exception of the 5-minute review, which I'm literally going to do alone from my hotel room. I am joined by our number one Patreon supporter. She's the only person who supports us in our Patreon level 4, which is the one where you actually get to do episodes with us. It's my sister, Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Hi, Kim. She flew from China all the way over here just to be on our show. No,
China.
No, she drove literally less than a quarter mile to get here.
Yeah. No, I stopped to get the beer first, and then
Yes.
I came over. So
A half mile. So, yes. Since Kim pledges our Patreon, and she is the 4th tier, she gets to join us for an episode, and we're going to do a top 5, which I believe is one you suggested to us on Patreon to do bad movies. You wanted to talk about bad movies.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you
I
did.
don't-
But House Mormont remembers. The North remembers.
I don't remember.
So that is literally why you're here.
Oh, okay.
Because you wanted to do bad movies. So me and Jay weren't really up to a whole lot. Jay's still been nursing a cold from last week and
getting over it. Yep.
and getting used to his new job, and also going to college and being all,
Grown up and bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not grown up
Well-
and he's not smart. I mean, he just
I like to think that way.
like
sometimes.
any idiot who shows up and can
But I
regurgitate
played
information
golf
on a
like I
test.
usually do, and all that fun stuff. And
all the white boy things, going to
all the
college,
white boy
playing
things.
golf.
You know what? Actually, I'm trying to brainstorm with ahead of time is my Halloween outfit for this year. Still
Okay.
trying to mastermind a good outfit because I liked last year's outfit. That was pretty good. The hillbilly kind of like
No, that was
Joe
not.
Dirt
That was
kind
not
of thing.
good. That was not good. That was like
It was good.
That was like college frat party.
Maybe I
good.
just like wearing short jean shorts.
That was
Can't you
college
just be a
frat party.
tampon because you're a little bitch for your cold?
What, are you gonna cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me.
Well, how about
Okay, maybe.
everyone always wants you to be Slender Man? I can make you a dope ass Slender Man costume. I mean, it's not going to get you
That's
any of the
cool.
ladies, but I can make you a really cool
Scared the
Slender
shit
Man.
out of my kids.
Yeah,
I mean,
you always
if you really want to.
your costumes are like the female. You know how like girls, like college girls, like to get slutted up. They
Right.
like to wear the skimpiest things possible and go out.
I just saw a Handmaid's Tale slutty costume.
Exactly.
I'm like, really?
You make a slutty costume out of anything. Add cleavage, a bare midriff, and a butt cheek hangs out here and
Right.
there, and it's perfect. You do the same thing. You do the college frat boy stuff, where it's like anything that's sleeveless, anything that you can get.
Right.
That, like you do what college frat boys do.
Yeah, I was a firefighter. I think the year before.
I
Yeah.
want to actually cosplay
Cliche.
you. I want to actually make a costume for you, like I've done for me and Lauren in the past, like I've done for myself. I want to make you an actual costume.
I was Neo from The Matrix. Did you ever see that?
Me and you,
It was pretty good.
Me and you can make some pretty good Blues Brothers with you being Elwood and me being Jake.
Goldblum?
Life finds a way.
No, you're not Goldblum. You'll never be Goldblum.
I want to be.
You want to be, but you can't.
Isn't that what cosplay
So
is all
it's
about?
no, it's sad every time you try to be.
All right.
It's very sad. So since Jay's been nursing a cold, doing college shit, and playing golf, which none of you care about whatsoever.
Yeah, we're skipping that.
And I have been off at training at work. Neither of us have really done anything. So we're going to ask Kim what she's been up to this week.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
I started a vacation. I'm on 2 weeks of vacation.
Wow.
Isn't
Wow.
that exciting?
It's like you work for the
Yeah.
government or something.
I do. Anyway. No, we had a sleepover party with my family. That sounds
Which
horrible.
it does.
Really does.
But Jay is super interested because he loves The Dreamers, which is like a movie that's all about incest. So you've already got Jay stirring in his pants. He's pitching a tent under those basketball shorts right now.
That's disgusting. You're making
I'm
me
not wearing
sick. I
underwear,
don't even
Kim.
think. Are you kidding me? I'm sweating here. You're talking about no underwear.
I didn't get me excited. No, okay.
No, not that way.
I'm wearing underwear, don't worry.
No, we had a
lot of talc powder down there.
I am not wearing underwear because we're in my house. So fuck you.
It's all right.
Underwear is the bra of the balls.
So actually, this weekend we had the sleepover because my mom actually went skydiving by herself. Did you see?
Nice.
I did not see. No.
Yeah, my mom's 60. Went skydiving.
Did she get a video
by herself.
done?
No,
because I have the video of mine, which I'm really happy because I had to use the emergency parachute for mine.
Oh,
so it was really cool that the video guy was actually able to catch that.
Did you freeze it into a meme and?
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
It was just too funny idea until after the fact though. The guy was like, I was spinning like around and around and around. I thought it was normal. I was like, oh, it just went up, so it was just the wind, stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, we're good. And then he's like, look over there. There's our chute. I'm like, wait,
what
chute? I'm like, what are you talking about? Our chute? I'm like,
so I want to know at what point.
Yeah, I had to use our emergency parachute. I got tangled up in a line, so I had to really say it only happened like 6 times in my life, actually. But
So at no point did you did your dick go like turtle shell and go all the way inside your body?
I was never scared because I didn't think
never that big in the first place, honey.
Well, he's so tall, proportionate. It's not even if it's average size, it looks small.
Probably
because
looks like a Tootsie Roll, honey. I don't know.
It depends. Yeah, I mean,
it depends.
It depends.
Depends.
It depends.
With that cold you've been having, every time you
I'm a grower, not a shower. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who are you, George Costanza? It's shrinkage! It's shrinkage! All right, so you were having a sleepover with the family because mom was skydiving.
Yeah, she went skydiving earlier in the day. Well, first she did a cancer walk, and then she went skydiving, and then she went to my cousin's house for the game night.
Is this Anne Marie's Eat, Pray, Love year?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, fair enough.
She's going to be retiring soon.
Okay.
That's strange.
Eat, pray, love all the time. When is she going to get like a hot Hispanic man for herself?
Never.
Okay.
She doesn't want the D. I don't know.
When is she going to get a hot Latino woman?
Well, I don't think she wants that either.
Something I can at least look at.
No.
You just need a good vibrator. That's it.
I've been trying to get her one. She doesn't tell me what she likes. So
you can be your own like Modern Family spinoff where it's like mom is in her 60s and just found out she's gay and gets her own Latino woman to move up from Colombia. She would be yelling at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she gonna beat me with a flip flop too?
But your Hispanic husband would love it.
Oh yeah, he would. He would so love it. But anyway, yeah, we had a game night. Most of the people went to sleep. My cousin Alyssa, who's about 2 years older than I, and my uncle John, who's like in his 70s, stayed up till 4:30 in the morning singing Janis Joplin.
Good God.
And then I drove home. Well, I went to go drive home the next day.
I did a bachelor party last week and I didn't stay up past 3.
But no, I was driving home and my muffler fell off.
I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
Oh.
So that was fun.
That's not fun.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Don't you drive like an Audi? Like, don't those like not rust out?
Sam's Audi was crap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys totaled that shit.
It was a German on German crime. Come on now. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so that's it. That's me.
Awesome, man. So I know Jay hasn't had a chance to watch anything, and I know Kim hasn't watched anything, but we do have I know Kim will be able to comment on this. Like I said last week, I've been rewatching the 2 classic horror slasher films. I've been watching the entire series of Halloween and Friday the 13th in tandem. So I watch the first Halloween, watch the first Friday the 13th. Second Halloween, second Friday the 13th. So I have now watched up to Friday the 13th 3D.
You poor soul.
And Halloween, Season of the Witch. And if you listen to Justin over at So I Married a Movie Geek, you listen to the 1982 draft, which I won. Still holding that banner up high. I won. My biggest opponent, Doug, picked Season of the Witch, and there were so many people who were like, I love that movie. I fucking hate that movie. That movie sucks.
I didn't even see that.
So much. Not just because Michael Myers isn't in it. It's just boring. It lacks the score. It lacks the...
Can you understand why some people like it?
Third one, right?
Yeah, it's the third one.
Oh, yeah, I seen that shit. That shit was stupid. Sorry.
Yeah, that shit's whack. But my favorite Friday the 13th so far is Friday of the 13th, 3D, which is the one that I picked for 1982. I had seen it before. I remember liking it. It is like the quintessential Friday the 13th film. Like Friday the 13th one, everyone knows that it's Mama Voorhees going out there doing the killing.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th 2, it's Jason, but he's in a burlap sack and he's just kind of like running around the woods. It's the same as the first one, except remove Mama Voorhees and put Jason in his place. But the third one is where he really comes to fruition as like the machete wielding, hockey mask wearing monster that you all love him, and it is my favorite one. The gore gets amped up, the blood gets amped up, the suspense gets amped up, the cheese gets amped up. I am fucking loving it.
So you had a lot of fun with it.
But I know I'm at the crest of a wave right now, because I know like I'm on a high right now because, you know, Halloween 2 is okay and Halloween 3 is awful, but you know, Friday the 13th Part 3 is so good. Everything's going to come crashing down right now because I have Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, which is awful, all the way through Curse of Michael Myers, all those ones. They're all awful up until you get to H2O. And Friday the 13th just goes on a downhill slope from here on forever. So like I'm literally at the crest of the wave where it's like this is the best it's going to get, and then everything's going to crash.
Surf on down all the way to Halloween.
So here's hoping that next week when me and Jay get to review the Halloween 2018, which is a sequel to the original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween, and ignores every sequel thereafter, that it is.
This is why I only watched the first one.
I've watched a lot of them, but I just want to go back. It's Halloween season. I want to go back and watch all these things. Kim, is there any of those ones that stand out to you? You get some laughs with Freddy versus Jason.
Oh my God. I forgot about that. They actually made that? I thought it was a dream.
No.
Okay.
They made that. And in it, Freddy actually says,
"Think you're so smart, huh, bitch? How sweet. Dark meat."
and then you think like, oh, how incredibly racist. And then it's like, oh,
that? Was that Jason?
No, both of them lost. They both lost. Yeah. I mean, technically Jason won, but even when he's carrying Freddy's head away in the end, Freddy's mouth is like wide open agape, like it's like slack and dead, and then it closes and he winks at the camera.
I think I saw that and I completely put it out of my mind. It's because it was so bad.
It's so trash. I love it. Oh. It's so trash. I love it. Which gets us into what we're going to be doing this week. We're going to be doing a top 5 for our favorite bad worst movies. Like, these are movies that are terrible. We know they're terrible. We know other people know they're terrible. We know they're certified rotten when you go look at them, but we don't care. We love them anyway. But coming up next, before we get into all that, before we get into our beer reviews this week, I am going to do a 5-minute review for Venom. All right, now it's time for us to get into our 5-minute review. Unfortunately, because I had to go on a work trip this week, I'm actually going to be doing this 5-minute review alone. This is actually the first time I've ever done anything alone for the podcast. So without any further ado, I went and saw Venom alone this weekend, but I had a really cool experience because I actually got to go to a really cool place. I went to the Alamo Draft House in Leesburg, Virginia, which is where I was at for my company training. And I got to meet up with another podcaster. I got to meet up with Justin from the Epic Film Guys. And after I saw the film, I got to discuss it with him a little bit. He was there actually seeing a different film, but we met up in the lobby, had a couple of drinks, and got to discussing, Venom, but we also discussed a myriad of other things. I love getting together with other podcasters. I love sitting down having discussions about movies and stuff like that. And we ended up hanging out for about an hour or two, and we just had a great time, great conversation. And I was just really happy to take the time and get to meet with him. I also really loved seeing it on a Dolby screen. That was helpful at times because the sound quality was great and the picture quality was as good as it could be with this movie. But also the Alamo Draft House is just a really great place. I love the atmosphere. I love, the old movie pictures up on the walls. I love their ads and everything that they have going. Seeing Turkish Spider-Man throw a guinea pig in someone's face and seeing it gnawed off and right there on my screen telling me not to text. It was just a fun place. Not to mention you get to have a beer too with your film as well as get served some pretty decent food. So my experience overall with the theater was pretty good. But let me get into my Venom review.
We all have our own demons.
You used to be one thing. Now, you're something else.
Are you gonna behave yourself?
No. So many snacks. So little time.
Eddie, you look lousy.
I have a parasite. We cannot just eat people. The way I see it, we can do whatever we want.
Before we do that, I'm going to have to do a brief synopsis. Down on his luck, reporter Eddie Brock has lost his job and his fiancée Anne in the same day, but an opportunity arises to take down the Elon Musk-esque leader of a crooked company. Through his investigation, Eddie comes in contact with an alien symbiote that bonds with Eddie both genetically and emotionally as these two losers join forces to become one being, exact some not-so-bloody revenge, and get Eddie's groove back in this watered-down PG-13 tone-deaf mess of a movie. And I think that really gets into my biggest problem with Venom, is that this film is tone deaf as fuck. The movie attempts to have a foot in a gritty and hyper violent world of a true anti-hero, as well as add humor and charm where it can. And other films in the comic book film genre have been able to walk this tightrope, and they've done it, somewhat expertly, like a brain surgeon. However, with Venom, it's like the brain surgery is being performed by a tone-deaf mute who also suffers from cerebral palsy and is performing the surgery with a ball-peen hammer. It's just a absolute mess. What's shocking is that many felt that the Venom origin could not exist without the character of Spider-Man. However, it was not the lack of Spider-Man that really hurt this movie, but rather it was its attempts at forced humor and lack of true action or any type of spectacle. It was shying away from violence, which is an aspect of the character that I really enjoyed and I felt was something that really could have shined here. It really would have helped it stand out and really be juxtaposed to the Spider-Man character. And it instead attempted to focus on this relationship between Brock and the symbiote, which could have been truly great, but every interaction between the two characters, it does little to advance the relationship, and instead they later on add in like these feeble attempts at truly awful humor. So when there's finally some understanding between the parasite and its host and true symbiosis occurs, it feels forced and stunted with just bad dialogue that is useless exposition, and it's just thrown into the movie to really move it forward. The movie is extremely slow going early on and does very little to make you like Eddie Brock in any way or the atmosphere of this movie. But the first act is almost forgettable when you get into the fun and spectacle of the second act. They really do try to attempt to play with some aspects of the character, and you start finding yourself having a little bit of fun there. But the moment you start having that fun, the moment you start allowing yourself to laugh with the movie, at the movie, and at some of the things that's going on, you get robbed by that with its third act. The third act is so bad. It's lackluster, and the worst part, and a big problem with what I find in some comic book movies, is the final showdown, something you've been building up to the entire movie, and it's just a wet fart. It's just bad. And that's the same thing that happens here. Venom does have some charm, but I'm not convinced that charm is intentional. I found myself laughing at just how bad the movie could be at times. It was truly disappointing because as a comic book fan, I really like the character of Venom. He's always been a fan favorite of mine. He's a fan favorite of a lot of people. I felt like they got the Venom suit right, the look, even though it had terrible CGI. CGI was so bad that there's a point where they kind of do like a freeze frame and symbiotes are melting off of people, and there's kind of like this freeze frame of like Riz Ahmed. I even saw it in one of the trailers, and when you look at it, the CGI is so bad, like Riz Ahmed doesn't even look like him. It looks like Roger Klotz from Doug, the old Nicktoon.
Yeah, what do you know, skeet face?
It's just really bad. I wanted to like Venom. I really did. I heard a lot of bad things, and I refused to read scores or anyone else's reviews until I was able to see it for myself. I didn't think it was all that bad. However, it may be a case of low expectations increasing my enjoyment of the movie. So in the end, I found myself laughing at Venom's attempts at humor, and I'm still not sure whether I was laughing at the movie or with the movie, but I really did start having a good time right there for about a half hour in the film, in that center section, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes. I was enjoying the film. I was liking the ride I was going on. There's a few things that's like, yeah, it's cheeky, it's fun. Honestly, if this movie was made in the 80s using practical effects and stuff like that, it might stand up as like a true cult classic. But here in this modern age of comic book films where spectacle is everything to the audience, it just doesn't shine. I mean, I'm giving Venom like barely passing because I laughed at it and I had some fun with it. I'm giving it a C-, which is about as good as I can get with it. So let me know what you guys think. Reach out to us on Twitter at SuperMoviePod. Let me know what you guys thought of Venom. And now let's head over and let's get into our beer reviews with Kim and Jay.
The best thing I ever tasted, but it's not the worst.
And now it's time to get into our beer segment. But before we do that, we got to drop a line to our sponsor, Blowfish. Blowfish is, of course, the only FDA-approved hangover cure. You just drop 2 tablets of it into 8 to 12 ounces of water, let that dissolve, drink that down, and you start feeling better right away within 15 to 20 minutes. So it is only about $1.25 per dose. Mm-hmm. You get it real cheap. It cures the number 1 disease that affects Americans today, the hangover. Everyone in America wants to forget everything they did the night before. It doesn't do that for you.
No.
But it stops the pounding headache and the vomit and the anal leakage that comes with a hangover.
And it makes you rally to drink again.
And you're ready to drink by game day on Sunday.
Exactly.
You drink a lot Saturday night watching the college team lose. Then the next day, you take your Blowfish in the morning, drink that down, drink your coffee, rally again. That's what it's all about. So head over to www.forhangovers.com and use your promo code SMBFISH for your 15% off of that hangover miracle cure that you're going to need by Sunday if you're doing life right. So Jay, we got a drunk scene we're going to have to do this week. And I'm pretty sure I selected this drunk scene mainly because Kim is our guest. And I know 100% you probably have not seen this film. However, it is directed by Robert Rodriguez. It is produced by Quentin Tarantino, and it does star George Clooney.
All right, pussy, 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 come on in, pussy lovers. Here at the Titty Twister, we're slashing pussy in half. Give us an upper on our best selection of pussy. This is a pussy blowout. All right, we got white pussy, black pussy, Spanish pussy, yellow pussy. We got hot pussy, cold pussy. We got wet pussy. We got smelly pussy. We got hairy pussy, bloody pussy. We got snapping pussy. We got silk pussy, velvet pussy, nalga hide pussy. We even got horse pussy, dog pussy, chicken pussy. Come on, you want pussy? Come on in, pussy lovers. If we don't got it, you don't want it. Come on in, pussy lovers.
Okay, troops, it's the home stretch. Here's the deal. This place closes at dawn. Carlos is going to meet us here sometime before dawn. Now, we are going to go in there. We're going to take a seat. We're going to have a drink. We're going to have a bunch of drinks. And we're going to wait for Carlos. Let me say something. I'm very happy about where we're at. We got a real nice, I don't fuck with you, you don't fuck with me attitude going on. So if everybody just keeps playing it cool, and I'm talking to you too, Richie, and everybody's going to get what they want.
Out of all those versions of pussy that he named, I am most happy about platypussy. We got platypussy! Wow. So that film is obviously From Dusk Till Dawn, and it is one of my favorite George Clooney movies.
Yeah.
Some people like The Pacifier. Some people like Syriana. Some people like, Up in the Air and Ocean's 11. I like The Gecko Brothers.
I know of this movie.
But you didn't see
saw
it.
No, I never.
Of course
I never
you
did.
haven't.
No.
Of course you haven't.
Yeah.
Because it's too cool for you, Jay.
I know.
It's too cool for you.
Put it on homework, bitch. Try me.
It should be on
Try
homework.
me.
You will absolutely hate it. But I fucking love it. The voice you are hearing, listing
That's
off
hilarious.
all those pussies, is Cheech Marin.
I know it.
Are you looking that up?
No, well, I mean, I'm looking up the movie, yeah, but I knew his voice.
Sure you did.
But I absolutely love this movie. The Gecko brothers kidnap Harvey Keitel and his 2 kids, and they take them to the Titty Twister bar, which is open from dusk till dawn. And once they get in there, they're meant to meet their guy who's going to take the Gecko brothers across the border and deep into Mexico to get lost, and he will release the family and everything like that. But of course, it all goes wrong when they run afoul of the vampires that run the joint, and it is so fucking fantastically bloody and gory, everything that you want in a fun horror romp. It's just so fucking good. Kevin Smith on his podcast tells this story. He just got a new entertainment center, new TV, new speakers and stuff like that. So the way he wanted to test it out was he watched this film. He watched From Dusk Till Dawn, and he had it up so loud that his neighbors called the cops from all the gunshots. So when they came over, the people reported to the police the words that were being said, that were being shouted by people in the house. And when they got there, it was LA Sheriff's Department got there. The young deputy who was there said, "Sir, there's no guns or gunshots in this house. That's the Gecko Brothers." He knew the movie.
Oh, thank God.
Because in LA, even the sheriffs want to be actors.
Yeah. It's still a part-time job for them.
Job for them. But yeah, I do love this movie, and this is like one of my favorite scenes. Not really so much a drunk scene, more like a pre-drunk scene, but it's a bar.
Oh, it's a great scene.
It's a bar
it's definitely,
scene.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's worthy.
hilarious.
It's worthy.
I love it. So we're going to continue doing our Oktoberfest beers, and we're going to start off with Jay. Jay, what Oktoberfest beer do you have?
2018 Sierra Nevada's Oktoberfest. This one is 6.0 alcohol by volume. It is extremely mild on the nose, and the flavor, unfortunately, it has a little bit of a caramel flavor to it, slight malt flavor, but nothing on the back end. It's very dull, very boring, very cheaply made.
We don't know if it's cheap, motherfucker. Jesus.
Cheaply made.
Just because you don't have...
I say that in reference to laziness. I feel like it's a lazy beer.
Dude, you don't... So here's the thing. You and I aren't huge Oktoberfest fans because Oktoberfest is...
I am.
They're kind of like ancient beer recipes. You don't mess with them too much. But yes, they are on the lighter side. They are on the pilsier side. They're less bold, but...
This one's a little too light.
It's all in how they marry the flavors together, and the best you're hoping for is a really, really good Pilsner. That's what you're looking for in an Oktoberfest. Something that's slightly darker than your average Pilsner. Yours kind of fits that bill. I did taste it. It is a little weak. I'm not saying you're wrong in your review, but when you make an Oktoberfest, you're not changing up the recipe too much.
Sure.
You're not adding new ingredients.
But I've had some Sierra Nevadas that came out with certain recipes before, and they are on the weaker side than the beer normally would be. So I don't know if it's just the company. I don't know what it is. Maybe the recipe for that year. But for this one, it's just a little too weak for me. I'm going to give it a 2.75 out of 5.
And Oktoberfest do change yearly based on the ingredients available.
Yep.
So yeah, I would agree with yours. It's not great. I might give it a 3 instead of a 2.5. But yeah, it's not great. Kim, what are you drinking?
So this is Dominion Oktoberfest. It's 5.7 ABV. To me, it's crap. I'm used to IPAs. It's a little light for me. More caramel, a lot sweeter than I'm used to drinking.
Yeah, all your flavors up front in yours when I tried yours. It's like, it smells great.
Yeah.
And the like when it hits your tongue, you're like, oh, and then when it's done, it's like,
well, what did I buy this for?
Poland Spring. You just polished off a bottle of water.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not quite the delicious platypussy you were hoping for.
No, not at all.
So what are you going to give it?
I'll give it a 3.
A 3. That's just serviceable. That's okay. So I am drinking the Great Lakes Brewing Company out of Cleveland, Ohio. It is 6.5% alcohol by volume, and this is honestly a very delicious Oktoberfest.
We have a winner.
It is dark in color. It is malty up front. It has some nice caramel notes throughout the middle. It finishes off nice and sweet, but really crisp. I enjoy it more than most other Oktoberfest, and I'm not an Oktoberfest fan, but for this one, as far as Oktoberfest go, man, I am giving this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoy it. So if you're looking for a good Oktoberfest this year, Great Lakes Brewing Company, man, pick this one up.
We have a winner.
So coming up next, we are going to get into our top 5 favorite bad movies. So stay tuned. Welcome back to our top 5 for this week. So me and Jay took a little break from top 5 because we've been doing a lot of top 5s lately last week. So we did a little bit of a movie homework. I might have a movie homework for Jay to do next week, being as our drunk scene this week was From Dusk Till Dawn, and he's never seen that movie. I think it's a perfect time for Jay to have to watch From Dusk Till Dawn, which means I'll have to watch some boring indie darling of his. But
of course,
I will do it begrudgingly, as I did last week for Short Term 12. But this week, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about our top 5 favorite bad movies. These are movies that are so bad that most people don't like them. Critics didn't like them, but we don't care. We fucking love them anyway. Some of you may love them too, and I encourage everybody to either agree with our list, thumbs down our list, or provide your own list. Let us know what bad movies you love. And to kick this off, I'm going to kick it off to our guest, my sister Kim. She's going to go with her number 5. So
5?
bad you love it movie. What's your number 5?
It's Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
You lost your edge. You're the loser, punk. Try me.
Combat! Attention! You have just entered a battle zone.
And we've obviously talked about this movie before in Movie Cocktail when we were doing Masters of the Universe. It was made by the late great Cannon Films.
Yeah.
So Breakin' was like this huge success.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it. It hit. It was one of those films that just hit at the exact right time. It was a cultural revolution. People were getting into breakdancing, and then they had to follow it up with a sequel, and they did it so rapidly and so quickly that they didn't care about script, story, or even physical logistics of anything.
Which is true.
And they danced on the fucking ceiling.
It was amazing. I freaking love that movie. Hey, it made $15 million, so it wasn't that bad.
And Gallus and Globum were famous for making films for $2 million that made $15 million. So it probably made them money. Critically panned, though. But what is it about Electric Boogaloo that you love so much?
Well, you know how all the girls watch, like in the 90s, it was like, Bring It On and this and that. Well, my 80s movie was Breakin' 2 because I like to dance and I like to watch people dance. So that was my thing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And they were all wearing like hot pink and, like neon green. It was the 80s. Come
80s
on.
to fuck.
Yeah.
Like it was just 80s out the ass of that movie.
Exactly.
Not something that I'm fond of, but I don't have a love for dance. So like I understand where like you can watch it and see somebody's dance move and be like, yeah, that's fucking cool and stuff like that. You're not watching it for the story. You're watching it for the break-in.
Yeah. I want to see people break some legs.
And the Electric Boogaloo. All right, Jay, what is your number 5?
2009 X-Men.
20
Origins Wolverine.
2009.
I know.
I think you confuse me with someone who gives a shit. Granted, it's probably not as intimidating as having a gun or bone claws or the fingernails of a bag lady.
I was like, this is gonna be an icebreaker for sure.
Yeah,
it is for my list.
So what is it about the most critically panned, the most fan hated, the one that Ryan Reynolds even made sure that in the post credits of Deadpool 2 they went back in time and erased?
I know.
What is it about this that makes you love it, man?
It's something about the studio campiness of it that is so watchable, but yet so horrible and that I just can't get enough of it. And I love the visuals. Like Hugh Jackman was way too pretty looking.
Yes, he was.
Oh, he's sexy
during the movie.
Well, I mean, so famously, Gavin Hood, the director of Suitsy, who was this kind of like art house film director, was brought in to direct a Wolverine film, and fans of Wolverine know him as the short, hairy, cigar chomping, claw popping, like gore fest, berserker rage inducing guy who just goes around and slices people up. And that's what they were expecting. And instead what they got was a PG-13 version of a Dirty Dozen of
you get more of that from Liev Schreiber's role. Sabretooth had a little bit more of that flair.
That was almost the saving grace of the movie, is Liev Schreiber's.
And that's what I really enjoyed, and still was a little bit underwhelmed at times.
He was so popular that even in Logan there was talks and rumors and that he was going to be showing up as Sabretooth in that movie, and people wanted it because that was the best portrayal of Sabretooth, not the best portrayal of Wolverine or any of the other mutant characters in the film.
Yeah, and the small blip with Ryan Reynolds was fun, you know, in the elevator and stuff like that. Danny Houston, I always like as a bad guy. He's just...
I'm locked in an elevator with 5 guys on high-protein diets. Yay me.
It's perfect, right? You know, gosh, I mean, you know, Taylor Kitsch, like we were talking about in pre-production, he looks the part. Gambit, you know, everybody hated his role as far as like what they did with it in that movie. I still think they should probably just rehire him again instead of
how about
Channing
the fact
Tatum.
that he jumps off a balcony and twirls that staff and
so
uses
weird.
it as a helicopter to land.
Don't stop. Gambit and Jubilee were my favorite X-Men. Can you please stop?
Look,
because those were the X-Men that were introduced in the 90s. They were the ones that were in the animated series that Fox Kids pushed in your face and went like, these are the new X-Men. These are the X-Men from Generation X.
Look, man, don't ruin my childhood, okay?
it was just so...
Screw you, man.
It's such a fascinatingly, horribly done movie that was so more or less disappointing for everybody.
Right.
And, you know, Lynn Collins, she's a beautiful girl, but my God, she was a terrible actress.
Why does everything come down to women and how they look for you in movies where it's just like,
What? I'm just
she
saying.
was gorgeous. That's
She
why
was
I love
gorgeous.
this movie.
She was gorgeously shot, but she literally did nothing with acting. She had there was nothing there. She was just look pretty. That was it.
Well, it's a good thing
She had
you're
nothing,
not an
she had nothing
actor.
else to do.
Fair enough. I probably don't hate X-Men Origins Wolverine enough to say I vehemently hate it as much as other people do. However, I don't love it enough to put it on my list. So
Interesting.
I get it. It's weird because it's a try-hardy film where like Gavin Hood wanted to make a real film and the studio said no. And the stories out of that movie are actually really fantastic to the point where like Gavin Hood and his crew would cut for lunch and the studio would literally come in with their own crew, change sets, change things around, rewrite parts of the script and hand him a new script when he would come back from lunch. It was war of the studios.
That's
like
big time war.
Yeah. So when you see that movie and you know it's a mess, there's a lot of behind the scenes
God bless
stuff
you,
that's
Jackman.
really
Like he's such a movie
fantastic.
star. He stayed. You know, he didn't complain. He was a trooper. He promoted the hell out of it.
Yeah, and that's what a true professional does.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Let's not go there, but-
not like your Jared Leto's who go on and say like, "Oh, my best stuff was cut," or your Shia LaBeoufs who go, "Hey,
I kind of get it. I mean,
Indiana
they got
Jones
duped.
and the Crystal Skull was supposed to be great, but instead
They were probably told this was going to happen. You know,
exactly,
and they got duped.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
more excited
But
for
it is what it
Joaquin
is.
Phoenix as the Joker. Sorry.
We are less excited for that. We're gonna wait a little.
Well,
I'm excited
we'll see.
for it, but
It's still Todd Phillips, guys.
that's true.
All right, so my number 5 is Fast and Furious.
Oh.
Tokyo Drift.
I was going to sound like,
That just
really?
went,
That's and then you're like Tokyo Drift. Oh Jesus!
Can he drive? Can he drive? You know what DK stands for? Donkey Kong? Drift King. Drift. What do you mean, drift?
We got all excited. And
Tokyo Drift. First off, Zachary Ty Bryant is in this movie. The older son, Brad, from Home Improvement, is in this movie.
Oh, he is?
In the beginning.
No way.
He's the one who races them in the beginning when they race through that newly developed home development.
Oh, I guess I'm going to have to watch it again.
Yeah. So
bad.
this movie is literally the epitome of everything that Fast and Furious is supposed to be about. It's about fast cars, ridiculous storylines, and racing to the top. Like that. It is all of that without the majority of the melodrama. Like it's just literally it's like a music video the entire time.
Race rocket? No? Okay.
Well, no. So that's the thing. In the end, he winds up beating Drift King with a Mustang with a Nissan engine.
That doesn't count.
They drop a Nissan engine into
No.
a Mustang.
Just stop.
But I absolutely adore this movie. It's one of those things that's like, I know it's trash. I know there's nothing good about this movie. I know Lucas Hall is not good in this movie. I know that Bow Wow's not good in this movie. I know that like this movie has zero underneath the surface. And I don't care because what's on the surface, I'm liking. Plus, it's the first time we get to see Han. And honestly, when I saw this movie, he was my favorite character. So when he showed up in Fast 5, I was like ecstatic.
Yeah.
So now, like when I watch this, it's like retroactive history because we know in like the end of Fast and Furious 6, maybe, or Fast and Furious 5, we see Han's death from the other perspective of Jason Statham, who's the one who killed him. So it was like, I don't know why. It's just so much of the universe hinges on this movie, even though none of the main characters were in it. They tried to allow this franchise to exist without them, and it didn't work so much critically or even commercially, but in the home video market, for people who are fans of this series, it works. People still watch this shit. And like,
my husband watches it, so I totally understand.
I absolutely love it. What's not to love about outlandish car? I mean, Bow Wow's car is a fucking hamster box with the Incredible Hulk fist and foot and face bursting out of it. How can you not love that?
Wow.
So stupid.
And the soundtrack is honestly really good if you like Japanese rap. Teriyaki Boys!
I don't think I ever paid attention to it.
All right, Kim.
Dave wants to come back to life as a little Japanese boy.
I'd rather come back as a little Japanese girl.
That's more accurate.
All right. So
What's
my
your number
four is the 1986 Haunted Honeymoon. And before I even say anything, I'm going to ask you, did any of y'all see this?
Never saw it. No.
What?
Never heard of it.
All right. So
Yeah, crack open a beer.
yeah, I'm
Tell us
going
about
to
it.
crack open my IPA. But it had Gene Wilder, his wife, Gilda Radner, and Dom DeLuise.
So I like all three of those people.
Yeah. And you never seen this movie.
No.
All right.
To be fair, Dom DeLuise was just a cat in American Tail. Like, that's all he was to me.
No, stop. Oh my God. No, he was amazing in this movie.
And Burt Reynolds' partner in Cannonball Run.
Oh, Jesus. No, he dressed up like a woman, which was my favorite part.
Oh, you remind me of me when I was a little girl.
But it was basically Gene and Gilda went on their honeymoon to a haunted house. Not a really haunted house, but it was their honeymoon. I mean, I wish you really need to see it. I can't even explain it to you. It's just really stupid fun and really stupid.
But more fun.
Fun for me.
I mean,
maybe
it's
stupid
your number
for you.
4, so.
Yeah, I liked it.
All right, fair enough. Not much explanation, but
Yeah, sorry. I can't even explain
if you haven't seen Haunted Honeymoon from 1986 with Gene Wilder, definitely check that out. Jay, what is your number 4?
Anaconda.
You knew there were snakes here, didn't you, Saru?
Was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Owen Wilson and John Voight at their finest.
Wasn't Jennifer Lopez in there?
Yes,
Oh my
1990
God.
1997. Wow, I love this movie. It's such a guilty pleasure.
Wait, hold on. One second.
You know this movie, though,
Wait,
right?
yeah, no, wait,
Okay.
1 second. What year were you born?
84.
And when did you start watching movies? Like in your like 16,
I mean,
17?
2004.
I really got into
Oh,
it.
okay. All right.
So-
2001.
So this was on your top 5 creature features list as well, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't go over well then.
Well,
Can you save it now?
that's what this list is all about. I don't know what it is.
I
love the. I really. This was like a weird cult like hit. At the
where?
time.
Where? In
I don't know.
Africa,
No,
Asia?
well, no.
Where are we going?
To be fair to Jay,
I feel like it was. Maybe I was a kid. I mean, 97.
To be fair
I was
to-
probably middle school then.
to be fair to Jay, it was enough of a cult hit for it to spawn 3
two or three.
2 or 3 made
Yeah.
for DVD sequels, one of which or 2 of which starred David Hasselhoff.
So wait a second.
I think the snake thing is a big fascination for some people, but I did like it because it was partially practical.
Jay, make everyone happy and change your number 4
So-
to Lake Placid, please.
No, I wouldn't. No, if it had other movies, so you're telling me actually people like Sharknado, and that's why they have like 6 movies, 7 movies, whatever they have.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes.
100%.
Oh
yeah.
my
Definitely.
God! All right.
You don't make
I'm
studios don't make films even made
Kim.
for TV
all right. I'm
ones
too old
if there's
for this
not
shit.
a following.
Okay, just
There was
Everybody has their favorite bad movies.
and I understand. I understand that.
there was enough following for them to make at least 3
But-
direct to DVD sequels.
And that's kind of the thing. It was sort of the point of Sharknado. They're like making fun of, embracing the fact of bad movies.
all right.
making
I
fun
guess
of
I'll have to
Anaconda.
watch it.
Well, yeah.
But
So,
anyway,
but-
what about Anaconda do you love?
Everything about it. I love seeing John Voight as the bad guy again. He was the leader of the pack. Jennifer Lopez being all sexy.
I can't get this
You
guy
get
to watch
Ice
90%
Cube
of
in
the
a
horror
movie.
movies I love, but he loves Anaconda.
It's a guilty.
John
little
Carpenter's The
weird
Fog
movie.
is
Owen
way better
Wilson.
than Anaconda.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you
definitely.
won't watch that.
And that was on the shit list, wasn't it?
Yeah, The
The
Fog
Fog?
was
Oh, yeah.
not critically received. No.
No.
It's just it's just a simple little movie.
It's Jaws. It's
scary
Jaws in the jungle
and
with
creepy.
a snake.
And I like the set design and the production value. It was creepy enough.
The
and
production
simple and
value
intimate enough where I felt like I was in it.
Owen Wilson gets swallowed by a snake, and then 5 minutes later, you see the snake swimming through the water, and you see Owen Wilson's like CGI silhouette inside the snake's stomach.
I loved it.
How do you remember all this crap? I've seen so many movies, I can't remember crap about.
You clearly can't remember Haunted Honeymoon.
I can't, and I love
but
that
you love
movie.
it.
I just see Gene Wilder with a dead body's legs.
I've seen Anaconda at least twice, and I remember
even
those
see
things.
the inside of the anaconda.
I remember the end when John Voight gets swallowed and he gets vomited out by the snake, and he's like partially digested and does like a wink at the camera and then falls dead. So I remember.
Look at that. It's gruesome.
Even it knew it was cheese. But Jay,
I loved it.
I get it.
It freaked me out. I mean, it's definitely.
Look, I get it.
This was going to be higher on my list too.
I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. I don't
quit it.
These are all movies that like I like to go back to, but I'll never go back to Anaconda.
Well, hold on,
Not
wait.
willingly. If it's on TV and I have nothing else to do, sure, I'll give it a shot. But all my movies on my list, I have in my collection, and I will pop in at least twice a year.
Just so you know, for Christmas, I won Haunted Honeymoon on DVD because
There you go.
I haven't seen it in so long.
Done. Done. If they haven't printed it on DVD and it's made by Warner Brothers, I will be able to go into Warner Brothers website and go into their DVD vault and have one printed for you.
Oh.
Right?
I'd be happy with that.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas to me.
Jay, my number 4 is one of your favorite characters. Jay, do you know what killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age! Stay cool, bird boy.
Oh God.
Jesus.
I don't know how this is on your list.
Allow me to break the ice.
Dude, I don't know what it is.
I can't watch this.
Batman Forever is it's not bad enough to make my bad, so bad it's good list, right? Like Batman Forever has its okay moments. Like both the villains are god awful, but Val Kilmer's not too bad as Batman, and there's
I'll give you that.
There's some action in there that's okay, and even Nicole Kidman's like serviceable as like a Batgirl, which they tried to do like a Bond thing where you had a different girl every movie. But Batman and Robin is just it is so bad, and when I watch it, I understand why it's so bad. All the camp from the 1960s TV series, it's all here. Like if they did Mr. Freeze in the 1960s Batman series, this is what Mr. Freeze would have been.
All right, everyone, chill.
And to be fair, that's what Joel Schumacher was going for the entire time he was making his versions of Batman.
But think about it this way. Back then, there was no social media. You couldn't prepare the audience for something like this.
And that's
ahead of
exactly
time.
what it is.
So going from something so dark from Burton and
because
then jumping completely a 180
because they
into
don't have
this
news
world.
to say that the Gambit movie is going to be a fun, romantic, raunchy comedy film.
Exactly.
Right? Like you didn't have news to say that.
Exactly. It could have
Talk
been a
about
whole.
my Burton Batman.
Well, I love Burton.
I know.
I'm just saying, like, I think that played a big part of it.
Yeah.
Is that the audience had no.
Here's the thing.
They didn't understand what was going on.
And
it was
I understand
so different.
people are going to hate me for this, but I like Batman Forever and Batman and Robin more than I like Batman Returns. Not more than I like 89 Batman. I love 89 Batman, but I don't like Batman Returns. It's so boring. It's so bleak. It's so down. I
love it.
There's so much about it that I hate the Penguin in it. I fucking hate him. But like when you get to this one, there's just so much to hate that when you've seen it a couple times, you just fall in love with it.
Yeah,
like it's just you fall in love with Arnold's over the topness. You fall in love with like this subdued Batman in George Clooney. Like you kind of like, and as a comic book fan,
turtlenecks.
You love seeing him arguing with Robin, and you see like the beginning of Nightwing, and you see like. I mean, Batgirl gets introduced in a really backwards way that kind of sucks because she's not Jim Gordon's daughter. She's Alfred's niece and whatever. But, it just, there's so much to hate about it that like when you hate on it so much and you watch it, you just wait for those bad moments. And for some reason, it fills you with so much laughter and joy that when you watch it, you're just like, yeah, I can't hate on this because it brings me so much joy.
Wait, I have a question. Was that Alicia Silverstone?
Alicia Silverstone,
okay,
yeah.
I was just making sure. I had
this
to remember.
was right after like Clueless and stuff. I know Clueless was like in the
She
early
was
90s.
the big thing at the time.
She
yeah.
was
Clueless.
Yeah, she was like a bigger thing at the
We
time.
never talked about Clueless on the show before.
Clueless?
That's funny.
Clueless is a great
It will come
Well,
on
it's
the
based
show at
off
some
Jane
point or another.
Austen's
We'll
books.
get to it
Yeah.
because that's definitely worthy of
It's
talking
so
about.
good.
It's a fantastic movie.
It
I'm not
is.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
And Turk from Scrubs is in it. So
Yeah.
Donald Faison, who is
With
the only,
braces.
who is the only
Yeah.
cast member to
God.
go from the movie to the TV show. All right, Kim, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is the 1992 Cool World.
Oh,
Ooh.
the badass Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Brad Pitt.
It's Brad
Gabriel
Pitt.
Byrne.
Kim Basinger,
yeah.
is the model and the voice of the sexy, femme fatale that's
That
in
is
it. Right?
correct.
She's the Jessica Rabbit of Cool World.
Yeah. Freaking love that movie. Don't ask me what I love about it because it's been forever since I seen it, but I had it on DVD.
No, I mean it's the PG-13 version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Instead of like this drunk, hapless, but almost like family-friendly Bob Hoskins character, you get a cool, sexy LA detective version, which is played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And he goes to a very over-sexualized animated version of his world and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't dislike it. I remember watching it because I was in a big Roger Rabbit kick. I love the mixture of animation and live action, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And when I worked at Blockbuster years ago, I saw Cool World and I was like, I'm going to pick this up. And I didn't hate it. I didn't like it that too much, but I didn't hate it.
Oh, I loved it.
I get it.
I get it? You get it?
I get it. Yeah,
Okay.
there are people out there who really like Cool World.
Wait, hold on. Jay, did you ever watch Cool World?
No.
He never
That's,
will.
yeah, whatever.
Jay's never seen Thelma and Louise.
What?
Which is the film that made Brad Pitt a star.
No, I know.
And
I
won the Academy Award the year it came out.
You
and
know what?
it's
He just
critically
needs to, like,
praised.
I know of that movie too well, where I probably saw it a long time ago, maybe.
No, he
but
didn't.
Not
it
anytime
came out
recently.
before 2004, so he didn't say it.
We need to basically just throw DVDs at them, lock them in a room, be like, don't freaking leave. till you
Jay,
watch
Ridley
all
Scott direct that?
Jay, Kim just returned Willow to me on
Ooh,
DVD
Willow.
tonight.
Oh, God.
while she's here.
I was about to throw it out in the trash.
these. What?
You may have to watch Willow at some point. Mm-hmm. Me and Kim love Willow.
I love
We should do
Willow.
Patreons where me and Kim make you watch movies that we
Yes!
love. That me and her
I would
love.
love that.
It's literally being.
She's gonna have to pay double.
You would literally be taught by my movie master. She's the one that taught me movies to love, and then
It's true.
I teach you, and she's there to smack your wrist when you are insolent.
It's too late in the game.
But see, what it is
She's your
is
pie may.
I show you the movies, and then I'm like, hey, what happened in this movie? You tell me the whole scenario, almost the whole movie, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's what happened,
Yeah.
because I watched it 80 times and I can't remember.
As evident as the fact that she's the one that showed me like all the Friday the 13th movies, but she remembers nothing from any of them.
Yeah, nah. Nothing.
Jay, what is your number 3, man?
1995's Ace Ventura.
Oh.
When Nature Calls.
Okay,
yes.
that's the bad
Yes.
one. If you said Ace Ventura, I'd say that's not bad enough to be on
When
this
Nature
list.
Calls.
When Nature Calls, I get that.
Bumblebee tuna. Bumblebee tuna. Hi there, nice to see you. Bumblebee tuna. Bumblebee tuna. Ace Ventura, pet detective. How are you this afternoon? Alrighty then.
You actually fell in love with Dan and Kayla from Netflix and Swell when we did our top 5 gut-busting comedies. Both of them had this on their list, and I didn't get it because I actually don't like When Nature Calls. I like Ace Ventura 1, but not When Nature Calls. But you were like, yes, I love this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess because I was so high on Jim Carrey still at that time. I mean, big time. This was like slightly before puberty, where I can actually sound like Jim Carrey with my voice.
This is like a year or two after The Mask, so you were still running around going, "Somebody stop me!"
Oh yeah, and
smoking.
Like literally the TV ads for the original when he's like, "Do not go in there." Woo!
That's the original one,
Put
by the
me
way.
in tears multiple times.
That's
just
the
from
original
TV
one,
spots.
though. That's not When
I know.
Nature Calls.
But I'm building up to the fact that like I was still riding this high of Jim Carrey. He could do no wrong. And
See,
the fact that this movie
in
just
Living
ramps it
Color
up
is the height for Jim Carrey for me.
that's another conversation. But this just ramps up all the brilliance and insanity of Ace Ventura and just revs it up to a 10.
White devil,
And
white devil.
He puts them in nature, literally the whole time, the whole movie, in a bonkers world, with funny little circumstances, funny little scenes.
Guano.
This is funnier than the first movie. Yes, the first movie is better.
It is not funnier.
To me, this is
No,
funnier.
I love when he's
I
trying to get
laugh
out the
way more.
rhino's ass.
That's the funniest
hilarious.
part, yes.
That is freaking hilarious.
That is the funny part. Oh
I
my God,
laugh.
children, you're seeing the miracle of birth.
Dude. The way it's shot, dude. This movie, no. This is my favorite, man. Out of all of them,
It's so good that Jay has become speechless. All right, Jay.
I love it.
We've come to my number 3, which is a film that came out in 1995, and it stars no one that anybody knows, but it's one of the most famous video game franchises that's still going today.
Tell me it.
It's Mortal Kombat.
Yes, I was gonna pick that. That was my one. Annihilation.
It's my honorable mention. It's my honorable mention.
It's the first one.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah.
I like both of them.
Oh, come on, love. Give me a break.
I was struggling with that. Both of them, actually.
I even struggled with like making the intro to this one, just to this.
Mortal Kombat. I had the CD for Christ's sake.
Yeah, you did. We used to dance in your. Me and Kim used to dance in the front yard to this. And I used to do my Sub-Zero freeze move. I love this movie. It's all the characters I loved playing as in the video game being brought to life. It is Bloodsport with the video game spin. I love it. I fucking love this movie. I know it's not. I know
too.
like nerds love it, but I know it's critically panned. For the most part, people do not remember this movie or even like it. I remember the first.
It's our generation, though. That's the thing. It's a generational thing.
Movie. I saw this movie. I went to the drive-in theater and I saw this movie on a double feature, and it played first, and I don't remember what played after it, because after this played, I was so jazzed as a little kid, and I had done so many of the moves, like running around the car, that like I was tired and passed out by the time whatever the second movie was came on. I think it might have been Dragonheart. I don't know.
Who cares?
But I passed out.
Mortal Kombat.
It was Mortal Kombat.
I was
It's
obsessed
so good.
with Sub-Zero.
Do you have any idea how excited I was when Reptile showed up? And I was like, oh my God, Liu Kang unlocked the secret! He unlocked Reptile! yes! I didn't love the second one so much. I still enjoyed the second one for what it is. But
for Katana.
yeah, the first one, it's just so good. Especially when Johnny Cage goes to fight Goro and he punches him in the balls. It's so good. If you have not revisited Mortal Kombat in a while, please do. It's so good.
It's so good.
All right, Kim, what is your number 2?
You're going to hate me.
I might.
You will.
I
All right,
might.
you ready? So it was in 1987. It's Jaws the Revenge.
This time, it's personal.
That's okay.
I love that movie.
That's okay.
I so love that movie. Why are you looking at me that way?
That is like so you know my best friend Kenny, he grew up with you just like he grew up with me and stuff. He loves Jaws the Revenge. And me and him have had great talks about it, where if they did their original story, it would have made sense.
Okay.
Because like there was originally a flashback that was supposed to be in the film of Marcus Brody, who captures like a drug lord in New York, and he was a voodoo guy, and he puts a hex on him. He puts a curse on him, and then shortly after that, he moves to Amity, and the first great white shows up.
Yeah.
And the hex that he put on was a blood curse, where the great white shark would follow the family forever, which then explains why a great white shark would kill Sean in Amity Bay and then travel all the way down to Jamaica, even though that still was ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
At least it makes more sense
I get it.
than the shark did it. And you know why your father died, Michael? It was the fear. It gave him a heart attack. And this film does have some depth, at one point, Mrs. Brody,
yes,
Elman Brody, asks Michael Caine's Hobie, what he does, and he says like he's a delivery man. He moves stuff. He uses a plane and he transfers people's laundry. He's a drug dealer.
Yeah, leave the drug dealer alone.
He transfers drug deals.
He treated her well. That's all that matters.
That's what matters.
Yes.
But no, there is some sick like enjoyment in this film that I love, and all 3 to 5 of its endings, because there are so many endings. There's the ending that's approved by airplanes. There's the ending that's approved by TV. There's an ending that's approved by the studio, and an ending that the director intended.
Oh wait, Jesus Christ, are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I need to see them all.
Kenny taught Dave a lot about this movie.
You know his his Jamaican friend who like gets eaten by the shark?
Yeah.
In some versions he lives.
Oh.
In some versions he's at the airport at the end saying goodbye to Michael. In other versions he's swimming after the shark gets like impaled. He's swimming next to the boat and Michael pulls him in. Like there's multiple endings to this movie.
And Kenny told you all this?
Not only that, it's actually like you can look it up on IMDb. Like this is like for real shit.
Real shit.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up.
Yeah. Jaws the Revenge has multiple
All right.
endings. And I approve of
Thank
your
you.
number 2.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna hate me for a minute.
No. I love all the Jaws in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what
Even
it is.
Jaws 3D.
That's the worst one, which is sad. That's the worst one.
That is the worst one. What is that, Dennis Quaid?
That was Dennis Quaid. But they'll never explain how Dennis Quaid in Jaws 3D goes from being like the head of maintenance of SeaWorld to Jaws 4, where he is a marine biologist studying conch shells. Like
You know what? I was going to say something, but I don't want anybody to get offended.
But
so.
actually, what I found out was that the director of Jaws the Revenge ignored Jaws 3D. Like it didn't happen.
Oh, it was like
he did his own thing. Yeah, he did his own thing. I am still waiting for Jaws 18, like we were supposed to get in 2015, according to Back to the Future 2.
Oh. Back to the Future. Holy crap.
Jay, what's your number 2?
How do you follow that up? Bad Boys 2.
That's not a bad movie.
I liked it.
It's not a bad movie. That is like one of the best action movies ever made.
He's really thinking about it.
I saw it on a lot of lists.
Did you pick it
You're
because
using
of that?
other people's lists?
No.
No.
I looked at a lot of lists just so I knew what to work from.
No, like 50 to 100 rankings, whatever.
Yeah.
I literally went to the DVD collection that's sitting in front of you, went through it, and went, this is a bad movie, but I love it. I don't care.
Well, I didn't know what would be considered a bad movie, so I literally had to go to like 8 different
It's
lists.
tricky for me.
I should have clarified because I should have said critically and commercially panned, but you didn't care. You loved it, like Dark. Like Warriors of Virtue.
What?
Do you remember Warriors of Virtue from the early 90s?
No.
Oh my god.
Did I watch it with you?
No, but it's a terrible movie that
Oh.
involves like, I don't know, karate kangaroos in some way. Yeah, who cares? It's amazing. Just watch it.
All right.
But Jay, what about Bad Boys 2? Do you
This is a
love?
bad entry then, I guess. But either way, no, I just again, like you said, I just always loved this movie. I thought it was comedically fantastic.
Jay, this
I thought
movie
the
is so
combination-
loved that it gets
We
its-
love it. We talk about it.
Yeah, it gets its own mention
That's
in
why
Hot
it's number
Fuzz.
2.
Wait a minute, you've never seen Bad Boys 2?
Point Break or Bad Boys 2?
Which one do you think I prefer?
No, I mean, which one do you want to watch first?
It's
I know. That's why I love it. It's look, I don't know. I thought people didn't like this movie. I know we did. I know we talk about it from time to time on the show. I think the action is spectacular. They are literally hurling cars down the highway off of car trucks into the, that's Michael Bay for you.
Yeah.
It's bonkers. And it was really fun. And I love Martin Lawrence. I love the sitcom Martin. I love Will Smith. I just always have from the 90s up till today. And the combination of them both, I can't wait for Bad Boys 3 regardless.
I'll give it to you that on IMDb, it is rated below a 7. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it is 23% rotten.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
Saving grace a little
this
bit.
is a
about to
bad
say.
movie.
I'll
give it to you.
I saw it in a couple lists. So I was...
Maybe this
Look.
is a bad movie that I should have had on my list
Yeah.
because I love it. I didn't know
That's why it's my number
I liked
2.
it.
I mean, it's my number 2, and I adored this movie. I
didn't know anyone hated it.
I liked it.
When Martin Lawrence drops that E and he gets all fucking goofy,
Dude, isn't
I'm
this
dying.
Isn't this the one where the kid knocks on the
Dying.
door and like
Yes.
Will
Yeah, he
Smith
comes
comes
out.
in?
Oh, man.
Yes. It's fucking genius.
Reggie.
I love it. Hey, Reggie! He's got a 40 in his hand, his gun flapping around. He's got the beater on. Oh, my God. Seeing Will Smith act like that is fucking great.
All right, dude, I'm with it. I'm with it now. I was against you at first because I thought people loved this movie, but apparently I was
I
wrong.
thought they
I
did.
don't know of many people that love this movie. And the fact that I saw it twice on different lists, and I was like, I guess it was.
Apparently, I live in my own little world where, like, me and, like, you know, Justin from So I Married a Movie Geek, and Chris from More Gooder Than, and Fuzzy from Who Spiked the Puns, like all of us in the network and stuff. Apparently we just love bad movies, and like we talk about them like they're great. Like Con Air is
Con Air.
Like I didn't know Con Air was a bad movie until I started doing this list, and like some people were like telling me Con Air is terrible, and I was like, I love Con Air. Everyone I know loves Con Air.
I love Steve
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
He's so good in that movie.
Oh, I love it.
He's great. Cyrus the Virus?
Yes.
That movie's amazing. So it doesn't make my list because everyone I know loves it.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we're going to go into my number 2. 1993's Sylvester Stallone and Dennis Leary in Demolition Man.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
I'll be right back. Thanks a lot, you shit bro.
For repeated violations of the verbal morality statute.
So much for the seashells.
Oh my God.
Jay, to this day, I don't know how to use 3 seashells. I fucking love this movie.
Be well.
Be well, John Spartan. I fucking love this movie. So, like, the best part about it is, like, when I watch it, the film starts off in 1997, where the world's criminals are being kept in cryogenically frozen prisons, which this came out in 1993. Guess what? 4 years later, prisoners were not being kept in. I love like sci-fi movies that like do this, where they're like, we're going to advance it by 4 years and we're going to have this amazing technology. No, you're not. No, you're not. You should have just said it in the not too distant future. You say that and we're all okay. But I love this movie. Wesley Snipes is amazing in this movie.
Definitely.
I fucking love this movie. It is everything you want in 90s action. It's everything you want from Sylvester Stallone. Dennis Leary comes in toward like halfway point and becomes like this amazing like comic relief like slash like freedom fighter and stuff, and he wants to bring things to the old ways, which John Spartan gets behind because he is the old ways. And God,
wait, I gotta tell you a story. So I work with this guy.
Oh, and Otho and Otho from Beetlejuice is in this movie.
Definitely.
Yes.
Love him.
And I love Otho.
So where I work, you know, obviously in customer service, I have a coworker that's, I guess he's in his 40s.
Just tell everyone, you sell booze to people.
Yeah, I sell booze to people. Anyway, so every time he was, you know, checking out a customer, he'd be like, be well. And I'm like,
be well, John Spartan.
Is that from Demolition Man? And he's like, yeah, you picked that up. And I'm like, how long have you been saying that? I've known you for like 10 years.
He's like, 10 years. I've been waiting for someone to pick it up. Thank you. And he just walked off and just disappeared.
No, he's
like a ghost.
No, it didn't work that way. He stood at the register and I walked away like, see you later.
See you later.
I'll talk to you again in 10 years. Yeah.
I love Demolition Man. Sorry.
It is a good movie.
It's good. I literally had to sit here and I was like, do I put Judge Dredd on here or do I put Demolition Man?
Wait, which Judge Dredd?
Not Dredd 3D, because Dredd 3D is critically loved, but commercially it was panned. People didn't go see it.
Gotcha.
But critically it was loved. No, I'm talking about like Dredd 95 with Sylvester Stallone.
I am the law. I like that one.
So did I. But when I put it against Demolition Man, I was like, Demolition Man is just like the one I would rather watch. If I put those two together, I would rather watch Demolition Man than 1995's Judge Dredd.
You're right.
All right, so we're going to get into honorable mentions before we wrap this up. Does anyone have any honorable mentions, Kim?
Well, mine was just Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but...
There you go. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Mortal Kombat, and I had The Mask on there.
The Mask. I didn't... That was bad, too?
No, that was a commercial success.
It's a success, but it was, obviously poorly reviewed,
minds,
and it was
people.
bad. But even still... It was fucking funny.
I love The Mask.
And it was, again, like I said, it was
Diaz.
right in the middle of, Cameron Diaz just starting her career. She was great, and Jim Carrey was still great. And he did a good balance of playing the straight man when he was out of the mask, and then really just highlight his Jim Carrey-isms.
One of the things I love about that movie is that it is about a guy who just loves cartoons like I am. Like he's so when I watched it as a kid, I really related to it a whole lot more because I was a kid who loved cartoons, not just like cartoons that were on TV then, like Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. Like I loved old cartoons like he did, and like I loved it all. So like that's what resonated with me about The Mask, but it didn't make my list because in my mind I thought people just kind of liked it or at least let it go and never said much about it.
Can we play the Animaniacs Countries? I love that song.
I saw like a YouTube video of people taking a tour of the Warner Brothers studios, and like they showed the water tower.
Yeah.
And like I don't know why, but it cracked me up so much. They drew on a screen with an arrow and said, "Where the Animaniacs live," and I cracked up like crazy. That was also in Teen Titans Go. They wrote that in there.
I love Teen Titans Go.
Thank you.
I love it.
You're the only person that's like giving me positive feedback on that.
Waffles,
Yes.
waffles. Sorry.
Logan watches that and cracks up because Logan is obsessed with butts right now. So like Robin and like his butt dancing, she loves. Then we watch the TV show and then she cracks up anytime Robin takes off his gloves and everyone goes, baby hands. And then they do the baby cry sound.
Yeah. So wait, what do you think about the new show that's coming out?
Oh, come on. Where's the lightheartedness in Teen Titans?
I love Teen Titans.
I'm gonna watch it because like my favorite character in all of Batman, anything, is Robin. Always,
of course it is.
All the Robins, all the main ones. You know, Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake. I love, and this is gonna have 2 different Robins in it. So I'm gonna watch it just to get like my Robin fix because I love my Dick.
Pain.
Grayson. But
Pain. Sorry.
So my honorable mentions before me and Kim get too far off track as we always do. The first one is Predator 2 from 1990 because it's got Danny Glover, and I don't hate this one. I will admit
it's Danny Glover.
It's so boring in the beginning, but by the time like the middle of it rolls around, you're just into Danny Glover's character and hunting down a predator, and it kind of subverts what you were into, right? Like it subverts a little bit of what the Predator was all about. And you know, in the first Predator, he sets that nuclear bomb and it goes off. In Predator 2, when he's having his final showdown with the Predator, and Predator thinks it's beaten, it sets its bomb, and Danny Glover cuts his hand off and cuts it in half. And that's like my favorite scene when the Predator like breaks into that lady's apartment and he repairs himself with the tile and the sink and stuff like that. And the lady is like, she's like, Harold, there's someone in the bathroom.
All right, I have a confession. I didn't see that one.
You never saw Predator 2?
No, I did not.
Oh, you need to see it.
I'm sorry.
It's on HBO. Watch it. It's good.
I suck.
And my other honorable mention, which is one that it doesn't make my list because I don't per se like it myself, but I defend it, and there are things that I like in it. It's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, that's worthy of being on.
We had the episode where I defended it, and I talked about the things that I liked about it. I understand there's things that aren't liked, and I can't watch it and not have a problem with it, which is why it's not on the list. I do have a lot of problems with it, but ultimately, it's still Indiana Jones. It's still enjoyable. Harrison Ford still came to be him. Like he's still Indiana Jones when he's in that movie.
He is. I like that movie up into like once Shia LaBeouf started swinging from. I'm
That's
like,
exactly
oh,
it.
forget it.
That's
I'm
where
done.
it falls off. That's where there's little things here or there that like you're like, why is that there? I don't get it. Why is a gopher watching him fight a Russian guy? Like, there's things you don't get, but you can let slide.
Yeah.
But then at that point when he's swinging on the vine, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I'm over.
Yeah, I get it. But there are things about it that I love, and there's a reason that it exists, and there's a reason it took place in the 1950s and stuff like that, and there's a reason for some of the stuff that people thought was ridiculous exists in it. However, overall, it's just not good. So we've come to number 1 spot on our list. Kim, what is your number 1 so bad but you love it anyway movie?
So it's a 1986 Howard the Duck.
I've got to get back to my own kind. Although I have developed a greater appreciation for the female version of the human anatomy.
Howard, you really are the worst.
That almost made my honorable mentions because I never liked that movie until we did it for Movie Cocktail.
Okay.
And Mark and me talked about Howard the Duck as the character and how the movie actually pays great homage to what the character was in the comics and stuff.
That was torture.
And I'm watching it. I was like, I do like this.
Is he bitching?
He's bitching.
Oh, I'm bitching.
Why are you bitching?
I hate that movie.
So Jay famously only liked like maybe 2 of the movie of the Movie Cocktail films that we did.
Wow, no, but
they were voted on by our listeners, Jay.
If I was a good singer, I'd start singing Cry Me a River.
What, are you gonna cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me.
90% of Mark's picks I usually don't like or even know or even seen. So one of those movies won, and I still can't believe it won.
Some of your movies won too, and they were bad. You made us watch Super Mario Brothers movie. So
Oh, I love that movie.
That was for our fan. I only did it because of him. He wanted us to talk about Super Mario Brothers. Wasn't because of me.
He paid you.
I did it for
He paid you, didn't he?
Ooh.
I'm giving
He
the
gave you a
fans
rim
what
job,
they
huh?
want to listen to.
Howard the Duck's not bad. I like that.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Howard.
Number 1.
Oh my God. I do. I need to get that one on DVD too. That's a sad thing.
I
Do you
bought
own it?
I bought it on Blu-ray.
Hey, bitch.
Yeah.
Can I borrow?
I'll have to dig it out next time I come over. I can't take it out tonight, but I'll dig it out next time I come over. Jay, what is your number 1 so bad, but you don't care, you love it anyway movie?
My number 1 is 1990's Dick Tracy.
Woo! Tracy!
Okay, tough guy. Now do you want to give the kid a piece of chicken? We got a place for people who beat up kids. This cockroach your old man?
Go suck an egg.
Go suck an egg.
Ghost, yeah. That was my favorite thing, you asshole,
Go suck an
egg.
I love this movie so much where I used, for a moment, 6 months probably, I named myself Dick Short.
So hold on. So
I was obsessed.
Dick? Okay.
So
in elementary school, I literally, on my desk in my room, I carved in a pen on my little pen stand, Dick Short. Rearranged my desk, my room, to look like his office. I was obsessed with this movie. I loved
great.
I
Dick
love
Tracy.
that movie.
Here's
I
the thing.
love Dick Tracy.
If you listen to 2 weeks ago, Jay used to put bat ears over his J's in his name because 89's
Movies
Batman.
were very impressionable on me around that time.
But in 1990, he became Dick Short.
Short.
Or if you were to put that on your college transcripts, it would
Short
be
dick?
Short Dick. Short apostrophe Dick. Which is what me and Kim told you had before we started filming.
It's true.
This is perfect. Full circle right there. Anyway.
It is. I fell in love with Madonna.
Yeah, man.
She's never looked better. I thought that she was a goddess. I got in trouble at school for drawing her boobs. And
wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold on.
Did you make them like?
There was a weird.
Did you make them cylinder cones like?
Yeah, I was like,
she did on
how's
stage?
this working?
I just vividly remember this one day. A buddy of mine and I, just every sheet of paper, we just did a quick whoosh, whoosh, and then like just threw it around, just like these big swooping boob pictures,
So
and
you
threw it around the
testified
room.
that it was her boobs.
First, in my mind, it was.
Oh, all right.
Madonna's,
I'm just
but,
checking.
You know,
It's the only boobs
whatever.
I knew at the time.
Because she was.
It was Madonna's and my mom's.
It was. It was just. It was a girl crush. I mean, I had a girl crush
No,
on her.
there's nothing wrong
and,
with that.
And you know, Warren Beatty, you know, at his finest,
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Al Pacino.
Dick Tracy, and
Al Pacino.
at his
Oh my
finest.
God.
who I didn't know who Al Pacino was at the time, of course, but like, and still even later on in my life, I forgot that was him under all that makeup.
Madonna.
Woo.
Great ass.
You know, he pinched her ass at some point.
At some point, he did in the movie. He actually does. He smacks her butt and tells her to go away. Yes, he did.
Oh my God! See, he had to fit it in somewhere, and of course, you know why? Because Mr. Chauvinist himself, Warren Beatty, directed it, so it made the cut.
Yeah. All right, dude.
movie.
I like
fucking
your
movie.
adore
You
this
floundered
movie.
a little bit in your list, in my opinion, but
you had to think about it.
you brought it home for number one.
I knew number one needed to be worthy, and
It's worthy.
It's certainly
I
worthy.
think what it was he was really scared to tell us his real number one,
Which
and then he was
was-
like, "Bitch, let me find something real quick."
No, this is definitely My number one.
I call bullshit.
Fair enough.
No,
I like it. I like it. I like it. Perfect. All right, my number one. I mentioned during our Predator, The Predator, which came out in 2018 review that we did with Epic Film Guys, and I mentioned it on our 5-minute review of The Predator. I love that world. I love the creature. I love the comic books that came out with it, all the supporting stuff that goes with it. I like The Predator just as a character, as a creature, in all of its shapes and forms. But the film that I know was critically panned, fans hated it. It is 2004's Alien vs. Predator.
Want a piece of me? You ugly son of a bitch!
It is when my two worlds that I loved collided.
Yes.
Because
and you enjoyed this better than the last one, right?
I like this more than
more
than The Predator. Yes. So like in 1990s Predator 2, there is, when the Predator takes a human skull, cleans it off, and goes to put it in his trophy collection, there is a xenomorph skull that is in there. And that got everybody talking. Oh my God. Aliens and Predator exist in the same universe. So Dark Horse got the comics rights to both of them. They wrote a slew of comic books, Alien versus Predator. They were kind of a hit for like years.
Yeah.
People liked them. And then they pitted Aliens versus Batman, Alien versus Superman, Predator versus Batman, Predator versus Superman, all these fun shit and stuff like that. But we all wanted an Alien versus Predator movie. And when it came out, people were so disappointed by it. It wasn't what they wanted. It didn't fit enough into the Alien universe, and it didn't give them enough of Predator lore. But for me, it gave me just enough. I loved it. And the film ends in like this buddy cop way, where the human teams up with the Predator to take out the alien queen, and I fucking love it. It is one of my two favorite franchises colliding in a way. Was it everything that I wanted? No. But do I love every minute of it? Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And you still do, which is great.
I literally watched it like 3 nights ago.
Yeah,
I watched this movie.
Me and he's like, "Hey, so yeah, I'm watching this. Pick your top 5," and I'm like, "Oh, all right."
This is what like sparked me, and I was like, Kim suggested top 5 like bad movies a couple of weeks ago, and I was watching Alien vs. Predator because it's on HBO right now, as are all Alien and Predator movies, and I was like, yeah, we're doing this because I'm watching this and I really want to talk about it. And I even talked about this movie before with Chris from More Gooder Than on the show. Me and him did a segment, just me and him, where we talked about Alien vs. Predator and how much we actually really enjoy this movie. And I understand that it's not what people wanted, but fuck, it is fun. The only downside to it is it's PG-13. They didn't go R like they should have.
Yeah.
Where we could have gotten the blood and gore that we wanted. Yeah. But in the end, I still love these two worlds colliding. I love it. I don't know what it is about it. I watch it and I recognize the fact that no, this is not great filmmaking. Like none of this is technically good. But the fanboy in me, it's tickling all my right spots. Like it got the gooch in there and like all of it. It was just all the way down the throat. I loved it. I loved every little bit of it. I can't get enough of it. It's my number 1 favorite bad movie.
Congratulations. Are you happy?
I think we had some good, interesting choices on our list. A variety of picks.
I feel like I got a lot off my chest.
Still trying to think of Anaconda here. Anyway,
it's just not good.
It's never been good. 2 was horrible, so I'm not even going to pretend like it was good. It was horrible, but I love it.
Anaconda is beloved.
So please, the rest of you guys on Patreon, please reach out to us. Let us know what your favorite good, bad movie is. All of you on Twitter who are listening, reach out to us at Super Movie Pod. Let us know what your top 5 favorite good, bad films are. And then if you want to join us on the podcast or suggest top 5s for us to do, head over to www.patreon.com/supermoviebrospodcast on there, and you can join our Patreon. You can control the show a little bit, give us top 5s to do, movie homeworks to do, and we will be happy to do them on the show. If you go into the 4th tier, you could be like Kim. You could pop yourself on the show. You don't need to live a quarter mile away like she does. You can actually Skype in, and we will do a top 5 or a movie homework with you.
Don't do that. I like doing this myself.
You like
Screw
being
everybody
the only
else.
I think Italian might actually want to do this as well.
No, I'm number one. Forget you all. Go ahead, pay more money.
Actually, I say Italian, but he's not the Italian anymore.
He changed his name.
He changed
when
his
did
name.
he change his name?
Recently.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just recently, a couple
I'm
weeks
sorry,
ago.
I'm not on Twitter all like that. So,
But you can do all this stuff with us. It's a lot of fun over on our Patreon. We have just sometimes I write little things to put on there. Sometimes we have, extra episodes every month for people to download. Plus, if you join our tier 2 or above, you can get a gift from our loot chest, which I still have a lot of items for. I only just mailed out the first 4 items to our Patreon. So head over to Patreon and join us.
Bad date stories from me that took up probably, I guess, a good hour.
That's our least favorite Patreon episode.
Nobody cares about that.
No one cared about that.
No.
Yeah, we'll never do that again.
No, the only person that tells bad date stories is my friend Jill, and she's number one at that.
Well, I mean, if you go over to Gravity Beard podcast and you listen to my bad date story on there.
Oh, no, I did.
I have a bad date story that trumps a lot of other ones.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I did listen to that.
So make sure you head over to Gravity Beard, part of the Podfix Network. You can check out all the other Podfix Network shows over at www.podfixnetwork.com. Make sure that you check all of them out. You listen to them. You give them all a shot. If you like them, you keep listening to them. You become a regular listener just like you are for us. So if you're like us and you drank a little bit too much tonight, then you're going to want a little bit of a cure tomorrow before you go to work. So head over to www.forhangovers.com and use your promo code SMBFish for 15% off. I want to thank everybody for listening. Have a great night. Cheers.
Bye.